Find the seat and put on the rope, and afterward see for yourself. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. A group of monks sitting on cushions, everything is quiet and peaceful, their bodies still and solid as mountains. Such is their minds. Nothing is moving them, their faces soft and full of acceptance. And you may think, yeah, that's it, the royal, direct path to self-realization. Nearly all samurai practice Zen. It's the way of enlightenment. That sense of silence, emptiness, spaciousness, and insights. While you are continuing this practice, week after week, year after year, your experience will become deeper and deeper, and your experience will cover everything you do in your everyday life. Then, eventually, you will resume your own true nature, that is to say, your own true nature resumes itself. And your mind starts shattering. Finally, this is what I was waiting for. But is it really what you were waiting for? I still remember the day when I was joining a course about Zen Buddhism and Zazen that was going for about a month, and this was during my bachelor. The sessions were taking place at the houseboat, so not that untypical for the Netherlands, and we were like a small group of, let's say, 8 people, and of course the teacher, who used to live at the monastery for many years, so he was quite a bit older than me and the other students. And of course, as a student in the beginning of my 20s with some kind of experience and knowledge when it comes to yoga, meditation, or mystical experiences, I need to say also, while being sober, my ego was, relatively huge, I would say. And with this kind of mental attitude and expectations, I went into the first class. And I mean, I was the experienced one. And what did I get out of it? To my surprise, a huge slap for my ego. I mean, Zazen is a Japanese word that means seated meditation. So when we arrived, we all got some basic instructions on how to sit, which is most typically a cross-legged posture on a cushion. And you also make a mudra with your hands, so you put your hands together and form like some kind of bowl, and the thumbs touch, and then you just keep it like to your belly, like that it stays connected. If you want to know more about the exact posture and how to meditate, you can check out this video where I give some tips on how to meditate. But let's continue. Yeah, and then what basically happened was that the teacher said, okay, I guess we're all ready, so make sure to get into a comfortable posture, and I will set the timer for 45 minutes. The first thought was, okay, Till, that's kind of tough, but we will make it. And after roughly 5 minutes of sitting and realizing that the posture is very uncomfortable and my knees started hurting, my mind went like, okay, now we've got a serious problem. And since we had taken care of all the preparations, we were in a quiet environment and so on, there was nothing to do. Externally, everything was still. Physically, we were also still, at least the rest of the group. And internally, when it comes to the mind, I was a lot, but I was not entirely still, for sure not. Thoughts, emotions, interpretations of bodily sensations, my mind was in a constant motion, and it was just trying to accumulate, just stretching out, seeking for some kind of attention or action. It was basically like a magnet, just trying to attract anything, and mostly attention. And I mean, this was nothing new to me. I've read about those things in books, so rationally, I've watched lectures from Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Krishnamurti, Osho, and so on. But I've rarely meditated for 40 minutes without any break. And from yoga, I was used to do pranayama, so breathing exercises that help you to get into a meditative state. And I was used to some kind of music, like Asian music or flute in the background. But there was nothing, like literally nothing. No breathing techniques, no actual guidance, just a few words in between. But that's it. There was just one thing, and this was sitting. But I mean, my ego was huge, and we kind of got through this, and yeah, it was pretty hard. And after almost 40 minutes of knee pain, bouncing from posture to posture without trying to disturb the others too much, and regretting the $50 that I paid for the upcoming sessions, I was also disappointed, but I didn't try to show it too much. I finally made it. And from the next lesson onwards, I was the only one that was sitting on a chair. And trust me, my ego wasn't very happy with this. But I mean, that's the way it goes. But let's move away from my personal experiences and go more into the direction of actual, like, Zazen and its value. What I actually really liked about Zazen is that it's no belief system, religion, or philosophy. And what I also learned is that during Zazen, there's no or not much room for the ego to hold on to other things. For instance, in yoga, you can, really get into it and try to become really flexible and just looking at the other person next to you, try to be more powerful, have more strength, be more flexible, or finding better techniques to unlock your third eye. But with Zazen, it's different. Since there is nothing besides sitting, and I only mean sitting, there's nothing, like there's not a lot that your ego can actually accumulate. So then it becomes like very, very subtle, and it's a little bit tricky and less obvious than, for instance, doing yoga, at least out of my experience. Honestly, I think Zazen is the most direct way to self-realization, but also the most difficult one, especially for beginners. Basically, you need to sit through whatever is coming up. Feelings of boredom, feeling desperate, loneliness, seeing how your mind is trying to entertain itself, getting distracted, and then always coming back and trying to be more mindful, and also no pushing away of your psychological baggage that you're carrying around with you. Instead, really facing it and not trying to engage with it at all. That's the goal. If you are thinking about trying out Zazen and you know that you're a beginner, or you're looking more for relaxation or feeling more balanced, I wouldn't necessarily suggest to try it out, because this was not how I was feeling after the first lesson. But nevertheless, I would recommend to many people to actually just try it out and to see how it is. But when you do it, make sure that you're a little bit better prepared than myself. And also people who are really into the self-help industry, to being more motivated, trying to improve themselves, might have a hard time with Zazen, because their ego is basically just getting crushed. At least this was how it felt for me. But if you really practice consistently and dedicated, I think you have really good chances of getting more deeply into it and also into yourself. And Zazen can really teach you so much. It helped me, for instance, to create some kind of schedule for meditation to be more consistent over time. And once we start doing all of those things and slowly get better in accepting what is and staying with it, we will realize that our mind becomes less noisy and there's less thought. And you can also start to experience the space that arrives or is actually there when there are no thoughts. And in those kind of moments, you can kind of sense and feel how you're moving closer to your actual source. And yeah, that's it for today. And after you have liked this video, maybe you want to check out this video about silence and darkness, or this video maybe before getting some tips on how to meditate, because those are videos that are actually practically related to Zazen, and it would be a good preparation, I think. I hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Till, and this is Till Talk.